Welcome to the Rudick Report. Today is Monday, May 1st, 2023. If you can, please support this channel by buying me a cup of coffee or by visiting my affiliate links. Your help is greatly appreciated and helps us to continue to provide content. Well, the climate Nazis are at it again, and gas stoves may soon be a thing of the past in New York City if Governor Kathy Hochul has her way, under a controversial new deal between the Democratic governor and Albany lawmakers that would make the state the first in the United States to ban natural gas. The pending budget deal mandates all new buildings under 7 stories to be fully electric by 2026, with larger structures following 3 years later. While Hochul hailed the plan to fight climate change, New Yorkers said it was not so hot on the idea. Albany Democrats are expected to approve the push as part of a $229 billion spending deal that was struck. Critics say the upcoming state ban will drive rising energy costs while depriving many New Yorkers of their right to have gas stoves in future homes. A February Siena College poll found that just 39% of registered voters supported banning all fossil fuels burning equipment for new homes by 2025 and all construction by 2029. The fact that there are so many gullible people in New York who support this initiative is concerning enough. The construction industry is especially concerned about how the change might upset the economy of building as New York continues to recover from the disruptions of the pandemic. People are apt to make choices of whether they are located in New York State or somewhere else, and this will provide a further strain on the market until there's clarity about the availability of the grid as we move forward. So that's a real concern, Joseph Hogan, Vice President of Building Services at the Associated Contractors of New York State, said. What is hilarious and shows the utter hypocrisy of these lawmakers is that Hochul has kept gas stoves in her home in Buffalo, as well as the executive mansion in Albany, while pushing for gas ban in future buildings through a state budget process. Hochul, talking about the potential agreement, backs her decision by pushing the fake narrative of climate change as if it's something real. The whole push of this nonsense is to control you and to ultimately tax you. Hochul stated that our budget prioritizes nation-leading climate action that meets this moment with ambition and the commitment it demands. While Hochul and other climate Nazis push their agenda, most New Yorkers are against the initiative. Let's hope there is enough to protest and squash the idiocy of this control mechanism. It has gotten to the point where the narrative is not even discussed, but rather stated as fact, when the truth is climate change is 100% nonsense. The pending deal also mandates all new buildings under 7 stories to be fully electric by 2026, with larger structures following 3 years later. The pending gas ban was proposed by Hochul per recommendations from the Climate Action Council and powered by a 2019 law passed by Albany Democrats soon after they secured a one-party rule in Albany by winning control of the state Senate for the first time in a decade. Let's face the facts here. The electrification of new buildings will increase demand for power in the winter because the use of heat pumps rather than boilers to keep buildings warm, like how air conditioning already causes energy spikes during the summer. Let's also not forget that heat pumps are not designed to work in low temps experienced by those in the north. This will no doubt load down an already strained electrical grid in New York, especially as the new agreement piggybacks another state law which bans the sale of gas automobiles by 2035. With so many electrical problems and blackouts that have occurred over the years, this will just exacerbate the issues. Isn't it great that New York tells you what type of fuel you can use to cook and heat your homes, and also what type of car you can drive? What's next? You really need to ask yourself that question. If they pass all these things, what's next on their list? According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, fossil fuels made up about 43% of the 10,000 megawatt hours produced in New York State in January, compared to just 6% from renewable sources like wind and solar power that are supposed to replace natural gas. So right away you can see that their plan is ridiculous. A New York City ban on gas hookups in new buildings took effect earlier this year for smaller buildings, with full implementation planned by 2027. It should be common sense that if you're planning on getting rid of fossil fuels, then you need to have a viable renewable energy source that can in fact be a replacement, and that is not the case today. The smart way to accomplish this is to make sure we have the technology and resources analyzed before we start shutting down reliable resources that provide heating to families and to small businesses. But intelligence is not something that is in great supply in the Hochul camp. In my opinion, this will just force businesses to leave the state in large numbers, and my hope is that they in fact do, so that the message to these climate freaks is strong and clear. Of course, let's wait and see what the courts decide, as more than likely state governments cannot ban gas hookups. Let's not forget a decision by the United States Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit, which invalidated a Berkeley, California ordinance eliminating obsolete gas infrastructure. Let's hope this nonsense gets thrown out as well, and that the people of New York tell Hochul and her climate bandits to take a hike and go pound salt. Thank you for listening. Until next time, this is the Rudick Report.